Hi you guys, it's Catherine, certified nutrition consultant with Foods That Heal You. Today we're going to talk all about water, and I'm going to cover 4 different types of water, how much water you should be drinking every day, and when the best time to drink water is. Okay, so let's get started, and I'm going to go from, basically start with the least favorite water choice, and that would be tap water. That's probably the least favorite choice or worst choice just because it's full of pollutants. It has chlorine, fluoride, pesticides, herbicides, feces, pharmaceutical drugs. I'm trying to think of anything else that I might be forgetting here, but it's basically loaded with pollutants. It's very unhealthy. And yes, the government regulates it, cleans it up, whatever, but I can promise you they still have a very low standard, and all of that stuff is still in your water, okay? So if you can avoid tap water, definitely want to avoid it. And the thing with chlorine and fluoride that are really problematic is that they block the thyroid. So chlorine and fluoride actually mimic iodine, which your thyroid needs iodine. So if you're drinking tap water and it has fluoride and chlorine in it, which it does, then it's going to be taking the place of iodine, and it will damage your thyroid. It's very unhealthy for your thyroid, and it blocks the production of the proper hormones. So if you have any thyroid issues at all, you really need to get off of tap water. If you have any kind of health condition, you really need to get off of tap water as much as possible, okay? So that's the first one. The second type is going to be filtered. Now, a lot of you are familiar probably with those water pitchers with the filter, water bottles with the filter, tap with the filter is a carbon filter, or even your refrigerator has a carbon filter. What that filters out is chlorine, but that's pretty much all that it filters out. So guess what? You're still stuck with fluoride, which can block the iodine absorption in the thyroid. You're still stuck with pharmaceutical drug residue, pollutants such as herbicides, pesticides, feces, all those other things, parasites. Those are still in your water when you use the water pitcher filter, the carbon filter in your refrigerator. All that junk is still in there. So that's not a great choice either. The next choice would be reverse osmosis. You can get reverse osmosis at a lot of grocery stores. You can fill your own container, the big machines, or you can get a tap on your sink. That's what we ended up doing after we got bottled reverse osmosis for a while. We used to go to the store. I used to go fill them up, and now I eventually got into reverse osmosis many years ago. Anyway, that strips everything out. That's super clean water. That's one of the best choices is reverse osmosis or distilled. That's also very similar to reverse osmosis. Everything has been taken out of it. Now the downside to reverse osmosis is it has been purified of everything, right? So you have nothing bad in it, but you also have nothing good in it. It's just water. And when you drink water with no minerals, it's just going to go straight through your body, and it can actually leach minerals out of your body. So that can actually be a really bad thing. So what you want to do is, if you're using reverse osmosis or distilled, which again I think are terrific options, you're going to want to add unrefined sea salt. You can add unrefined sea salt. I have this here, and I have that in my super water video if you signed up for my newsletter on my Foods That Heal You website. But you can add a 1/4 teaspoon of this for every quart of water. That will remineralize and get your electrolytes in there. Now, people who are consuming a high salt diet will have to be careful. You don't want to be consuming a high salt diet anyway. Restaurant food, sodium in prepackaged foods, bouillon cubes, salt is hidden everywhere. So if you eat out or eat processed foods, you will need to be careful with adding salt. I use this in my detox program, but in my detox program, you're not consuming any table salt, no restaurant food salt. So this is terrific for detox, for hydrating. It's very hydrating, it's very alkalizing, it remineralizes your water. So this is a great way to remineralize your reverse osmosis or distilled water if you have a healthy diet. Now, another option is Mega Mag Trace Minerals. The sodium is taken out of here. This is from the Great Salt Lakes of Utah. This is a terrific option too. It's very similar to the real salt. They both come from salt mines, but the difference is this one has the sodium taken out. Now, you need sodium to hydrate, so I wouldn't recommend using this and then going out and still consuming processed foods with sodium, or using table salt or restaurant foods or whatever. Your best option really is to add unrefined sea salt. Make sure it has color to it. Himalayan's great, Celtic sea salt's great. You can add the Mega Mag Trace Minerals. So there's a few different ways you can do it. I have it all set up in my detox program, so that you basically do both, because I like I said, you're not consuming the high unrefined refined, I'm sorry, you're not consuming the refined white salt and all those other foods. So it's really good for you and nourishing. All right, then let's see, we've got here, okay, reverse, then Berkey. Now Berkey is a newer system and it looks really cool. I would like to have a Berkey myself. It's a big giant steel container that sits on your countertop, and it actually only takes out the bad stuff. So it's kind of a perfect situation where it keeps all those healthy minerals that you need. So if I were to do it all over again, I'd probably consider a Berkey filter. The only downside is you got this giant thing on your countertop. So you have to kind of decide what, pick your battles on what you want, but the Berkey filter is also easily to transport and take with you. If you go camping, for example, you can take it with you and you just pour whatever water you want in there and it purifies it, and you have a really good balanced water with the good stuff and not the bad stuff. So that's a really terrific option as well. So those are filtered options, okay? Then you have spring water, and a lot of people want to buy what am I trying to say? Water bottles with spring water in it. Now, the problem with that is you really don't know what's in it. You may recall that several years ago, there was this whole news story about half of the spring waters just had tap water in them. There's really no way to know what is in that bottle of spring water and what spring they got it from. They might say they got it from the pristine springs of blah, 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 but that really comes down to marketing. So it's really hard to know whether your spring water in the bottle is good or not. Then the other problem with getting a bunch of bottled water like that is it comes in a plastic bottle. And plastic bottles are xenoestrogens. So they are going to mimic estrogen, which is not good. It will throw hormones out of balance, out of whack for both men and women. So I would recommend avoiding those cheap plastic water bottles with spring water in them. People ask me about, what about the glass bottles with the spring water? Again, it just depends. Is there really spring water in there? It might be. I don't know. I don't really know how to test it. So I personally don't trust it. You're better off with a Berkey or the reverse osmosis, okay? And then then you got other liquids. So here's the deal with, this kind of goes into how much should you drink. So does tea count as water? Well, it can, okay? Because liquids are liquids. The problem with tea, whether it be white tea, green tea, black tea, there's good teas and there's not so good teas. There's herbal teas, which are great choices. Those don't have any problems with them at all. And that would count towards your water. You don't want to be drinking tea all day long, but that can count towards your water intake, because you don't want to drink too much water, because then you'll flush out all your vitamins and minerals. So that's unhealthy. You'll dilute your nutrients. But white tea and green tea have health benefits. They're super high in antioxidants. I just recommend only 1 cup a day because they do have caffeine and they are a diuretic. So they're going to stimulate urinating, and they will bind minerals to them. So you have the pros of the tea that it's super high in antioxidants, but the cons of the tea is that it will strip your body. It will bind minerals that you need, essential minerals that you need, and you will urinate those minerals out. So you have to be really careful how much tea you're drinking, even if it's healthy tea. Now, herbal tea will not do that, so don't worry about the herbal tea. Fruit. Fresh fruit it got a lot of water in it. That's the way God intended us to consume water, was through fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables. So it doesn't really count towards or against your water intake, but just wanted to put that on here so you know it's very hydrating. If you're eating, for example, foods that are really don't have much water content, like a lot of rice or a lot of grains or a lot of meat and potatoes and stuff like that are very low water concentration, then you're going to be more dehydrated. The way you really want to hydrate is water, but you also want to have fruits and vegetables, okay? So they're going to hydrate you better than water, because it's the way God intended in nature for us to absorb those nutrients. So people who are really sick can do a lot of juicing. Juicing is awesome. It's the way God intended water to get into our system. So, and I forgot to put juice down here, but fresh homemade juice is also going to count towards your water, and it's high in minerals. It's super, super good for you. So I strongly recommend fresh juicing. Fruit smoothies, green smoothies, hemp seed smoothies. When you put almond milk in there or water in there, that counts towards your daily intake of liquids. So it's not all just water. It's really how many liquids are you consuming a day. And I know this for a fact because I can do a urinalysis lab test for my clients, And I did it for myself, and my liquid intake, my water intake was really high, and it was diluting my minerals, my electrolytes, making me dehydrated. And because we're not really 70% water, we're really more 70% electrolytes. Like I said, you can drink water all day long, but it doesn't have the electrolytes in it. You're not going to get the hydration that you need. So, almond milk, tea, coffee, all these things contribute to your liquid water intake. But again, the problem with tea is it's going to be a diuretic, so you're going to urinate out a lot of minerals. And then coffee, that's a whole different animal, because coffee is actually really unhealthy for you to be drinking for your kidneys, and it will strip you of minerals. If you have adrenal fatigue, man, stay away from coffee if you can. Any kind of adrenal stress or fatigue. Coffee, I don't want to say that it counts towards your liquid or water intake, because it doesn't really, but it is a liquid. So it's kind of one of those, it's kind of in its own category, so to speak. So I would not personally count coffee towards my liquid intake, because it's more dehydrating than anything. It's going to cause you to urinate out calcium. So those of you who have osteoporosis, you want to stay away from coffee big time, because you could be consuming all the calcium, food high in calcium, all the cofactors, but you're just going to pee them right out if you're drinking coffee. It's really dangerous for bone health and tissue health and everything. How much water should you drink? So the general guideline is half your body weight in fluid ounces. So if you weigh 150 pounds, it's 75 ounces a day. If you weigh 200 pounds, it's 100 ounces a day, and you never want to go over 100 ounces. So generally you want half your body weight in fluid ounces of water. But if you're drinking, let's say you drink some tea and you make a smoothie with almond milk, and as you can see here, those are going to go towards your water intake. So you really got to find balance. You might need, for example, if you're 150 pounds, you're drinking, 150 pounds, have a 75. Okay, so maybe 50 ounces of water. Get your water bottles, measure it all out, and then knowing that maybe the other 25 ounces is going to be almond milk in your smoothie, or water in your drink, or tea, or something like that. So, or juice. Like I, for example, make fresh vegetable juice every day, about 14 ounces. So if I have my water bottle of 25 ounces plus my 14 ounces, that's about 40 ounces right there. I'm almost halfway, I'm more than halfway to my entire liquid intake for the day. So fresh juices count, tea counts, water in your smoothie counts, almond milk counts, but you want to make sure it's good quality liquids that you're drinking that are going to be hydrating you, okay? And then the best time to drink water is going to be on an empty stomach between meals. You can sit down, your meal, when you're eating your meal, you want to be able to drink a little bit of water with your meal to get it down, of course. But you're also going to want to make sure that you're doing the majority of your water drinking away from meals. Now, of course, if you're doing a fruit smoothie, you're going to have water in there. That's no big deal. Don't worry about that. I'm just talking about drinking your water bottle, just straight up drinking, or the tea. It's best to drink it away from your meals, half an hour before or an hour after a meal, at room temperature. It's best to drink your water as close to room temperature as you can. If you're drinking iced drinks, it will chill the liver, shock the digestive system, and it will go through the whole digestive process rather than just naturally going through your entire system in 20 minutes. It will shock the digestive system. So cold water is not good for your digestive system. So if you have any digestive distress, you definitely want to be drinking room temperature water. I have my water bottle next to my bed. When I wake up in the morning, it's room temperature, and I drink my morning water first thing, okay? So those are some tips, so hopefully you'll better understand the best types of water to be drinking, how much, and when to drink it. All right, thanks for watching, you guys. You can check out my website at foodsthathealyou.com or email me at Catherine@foodsthathealyou.com if you have questions. All right, catch you later. Thanks.